Okay.
I heard a beep.
Yeah. Okay, one more time.
Okay.
No, doesn't matter. We did
No,
it
it
one
doesn't-
time. We
no.
can meet it the second time.
No,
Thank you.
but yeah.
Thank you that you came.
Yeah, it's great to see you. It always is great to be with you and around you. I really, really value your energy. You
No,
have
I
really.
you are like a sun for me, you know, like the god Ra from Egypt. Thank you that you came, and I want to speak about your songs, about your creation, about your feelings here in Czech Republic. You know what you feel from Czech Republic and what is happening right now. And you will have concert, no?
Yes, exactly. March 12th, I have concerts. I just got finished a tour of the Czech Republic, which was wonderful, going to all over the country. And that's one of the joys that I get, is that as a singer, I get in the car and I just travel to different places. And I can't tell you the number of times I've fallen in love with the Czech lands again and again and again, just by passing through the little towns, seeing the different colors of the green, of the mountains, of the fields, of the blooming things that are growing, all on my way to give a concert. And then to get there and just feel the love and the excitement and the joy of the people traveling across places like to jazz club in Teplice and Bílina, and then the theater in JUWANA, and doing a festival in Znojmo, and also another one in Boskovice. So I've lived in Prague for 24 years.
Wow, it's like a long
but I
time.
get to see all over the country, and I just keep falling in love with the countryside and the life that I have here. So, but the 12th of March, I will be back in my hometown for a concert at Jazz Dock. And so I'm always happy to play at my home
You
club.
are inviting you.
Yes,
to come,
absolutely.
to come.
Please. I look forward
Because
to seeing
JUWANA,
you. See me.
she's
I look forward to
great.
seeing you there. And please
JUWANA
tell me.
is great singer. Yeah.
Tell me, I saw you on IJCHČ, so I will know that you're friends of Petters.
Then you
Friends
can
of
come with
Petters are friends of
special
mine.
like sign.
Yeah, exactly. You have
JUWANA
buttons. Yeah,
Or we
yeah.
can make chocolate. JUWANA.
That's a good idea.
That's a
I
good
like that idea.
And
That's a great Christmas present.
Yeah, no, it's like the entrance to your concert.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, it's like
I
you
like
can
that.
tell, okay,
That's nice. You're just so full. One of the reasons why we get along so well is you are just full of creative energy. It just flows out of you. And some people work really hard to be creative. I just think it's a way of life for you. You're just always coming up with these ideas and connecting things.
Yeah, but sometimes people are telling me you are so crazy. You are something there, like flying in the clouds.
Well, nobody's perfect. And
It's
that's the
true.
reason why it's really important to recognize what your strengths are and to connect with people who can reinforce your strengths and then cover the stuff you're not good at and the things you don't like to do and the stuff you're not good at. Yeah, exactly. Just something to balance, either in a partnership
But
or in a
it's
team.
very funny. I was studying process engineering, and I'm the worst person.
That's
for
why you had to
process
study it.
And now, you studied like this news, no? What is the name? Like you are.
Listen, I studied journalism.
Journalism.
I studied broadcast journalism.
Journalists.
And the reason why I got out of journalism because I was so frustrated. I would do all of this research and I would get all this background. And because it was broadcast, it was a 30-second spot or a 1-minute spot.
Yeah.
And just the fullness of the story never got out.
You cannot connect with another.
No,
people.
it's just not enough space. It's just not enough time. And so I realized I've always been a storyteller. I'm just trying to find the right medium for me. And that's one of the reasons why I write my own songs. Because you said I studied journalism, but I also studied theater. And it was that thing again, to be on stage and live and present and to learn these lines and to bring a character to life. But those aren't my words. Yeah. It's not my character. And when I started writing songs that really spoke from the heart of my experience, and more importantly, that my very personal song about my relationship with my own father, other people came up to me after the show and said, I want to buy this CD. I want to give it as a present to my father. Or I want to buy this CD. I want to give it as a present to my daughter so she understands.
Because it's like so touching for them. Yeah.
That's it for me.
Yeah.
from my own personal experience, to be able to connect with the humanity of someone else from a different culture, a different age group, everything different except our humanity.
Language.
Yes.
It's songs.
Exactly. Yes.
Everybody can be connected.
And that is part of the reason why I really got into singing, because when I moved to Prague, 1st of September 1998, I was already... Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. I was already cast in a show, in a theater production, by my birthday, September 26th. And I spent the time rehearsing, more hours rehearsing than doing my day job, which was teaching at that time. And then after 4 performances, it was all over. The lines, the blocking, all of it gone. But when I write a song, I can sing that song a cappella. I can play it with my musicians in Prague. I've played those songs with musicians in Italy, Poland, Latvia, all over.
But you have been all over the world, no? Like you
Yeah.
have been, like you lived in Korea. Like no, like
What's amazing is I left when I was 21 years old, just 21 years old,
US.
from Philadelphia.
It's-
And I flew from
yeah.
Philadelphia to Seoul, and I vacationed in Asia. And then when I got the contract to teach at a language school that's no longer here, I flew from Seoul to Khabarovsk to take the Trans-Siberian, because I studied Russian in 1989, because it was perestroika in Glasnost.
And do you speak Russian?
Not anymore. No, I just took
Немножко
1 year.
разговариваю. Немножко.
No. Oh, yeah.
Я учился в русской школе 4 года в Китае.
Я тебя люблю.
Я
That's
тебя
all I
люблю.
know. Do I need to know more?
No, it's like...
Yet.
Yet.
So I spent the month between one visa and another visa traveling the Trans-Siberian. And then I flew from St. Petersburg to Prague. I taught for my first year in Prague. And then when it was time to go on vacation, I went to visit my family in the States. So I literally did travel all the way
over the
around the world. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. And the Korea? Why you left the Korea? And okay, you left Korea after a few time. I don't know how long time have you been there?
I was in Korea for 4 years.
Okay, it's quite. a
No,
long
it's,
time,
it's not a small
But
amount
here
of
you
time.
are 24.
I know, right?
Yeah,
What's it's crazy. What happened was I got a Fulbright fellowship, and that's pretty prestigious in the United States. And I thought, okay, great, I got this Fulbright. I'm going to use that when I
this
go back to the
Fulbright.
States. Yeah.
I know this is very
Yeah,
very
exactly.
known. It's like
Yeah, it's a cultural ambassadorship.
Yeah,
It's the Congress created the Fulbright program to be a cultural exchange, so
Wow.
be a form of cultural ambassadorship. And so what happens is you have people who do research, and I started as an English teaching assistant, and that's how I started teaching. So I graduated in January, and I moved to Korea in July, and I was
And to
teaching
Seoul,
by
You have
August.
been in Seoul.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I from one capital city to another capital city, from
Okay.
Seoul to Prague. And so the thing about it is that I was teaching I was teaching high school girls, and then I got the invitation to teach at Seoul National University, which is the equivalent of their Harvard. So I was teaching at the best university, the brightest students, and it was just so exciting. And I also got, college vacations. So I went to places like Thailand, Australia, Japan, China, the Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, all of those places to have that
very
experience.
close. Like somehow
Exactly.
It's good, and you can see
Yes.
a lot of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And because I thought I was going to move back to the States, and we know
Yeah.
how far that is, it was very much I have to grab it while I can. So 1 year turned into 4 years, and I thought, okay, I've done Korea. I love this concept. I will get a job, I will travel, and then I'll get another job, and I will eventually work my way back to the United States after I've been to Central Europe, Western Europe, Africa, and South America. Then I will start a real life in the United States. And then after traveling through Siberia, from Moscow, flying out of St. Petersburg, I was hit like a ton of bricks over the head coming from the airport, past the castle, down Khotkovisary.
And you
I
fell
was-
in love. Fell in love.
Očarovaná byla jsem. Očarovaná, jo, očarovaná.
Is great.
So I was like, what's that? What's that? And the driver was like, a building. Yeah, exactly. It's just that old thing. That's what it was. That old thing. Oh yeah, it's new. It's from the 15th century. What are you going to do? Yeah,
12th century. Oh.
Yeah, September 1st, 1998. And then I was going from Spalina for a meeting somewhere, and I just got lost. I got lost through Husova and Maislova and Kaprova. And then I came out in front of the Rudolfinum, and I was just, that's it. I'm done. It was November, and I just thought, I don't have to start a real life in the States. I can start a real life wherever I choose. I'm going to turn off my timer that I have every day at 6 p.m.
It doesn't matter. It's like it's the life. It's
yeah, exactly.
Life. You can leave it there.
Oh, thanks. The gentle music playing in the background.
Yeah, I was like thinking, what is this again? I don't know.
He just had an epiphany.
Again, no, you are bringing the music, by you. Okay, and you fell in love with Czech Republic. And
I just knew that's it. I actually don't like picking up and starting all over and putting down roots and making a home and starting friends and finding community. When I meet somebody and it's real and it's meaningful, I want that person in my life as much as possible. And so I just said, I'm not going to just keep picking up and moving because that's not my personality. I like to travel on business. I love business travel, and I love going on vacation. And that's, people are always like, oh, what do you think about Prague? I don't have to stay here. If it's centrally located, it's the heart of Europe. If I'm tired of Prague, I can very easily get on a plane and go anyplace else. What's great about it? I can go back to Asia, where I lived and vacationed, and go to Thailand again. I still haven't been to Vietnam. I haven't been to Cambodia. I haven't seen Angkor Wat and all these other places. But I can also go and see my family and my friends in the States. Or I can still go visit Africa. So it's just really a great home base for me.
It's nice.
Yeah.
And, okay, now we can go more under the,
Okay, go deeper, all right.
Lower and lower, or higher and higher, doesn't matter.
Both.
Both, in the same time. For example, for you, like here, because sometimes we are like complaining here, Czech Republic, we are so strange, stupid, etc. With the comparison, for example, to US, because US, okay, it's a huge country. Yeah. You cannot compare New Jersey with Texas or Dallas.
Exactly.
I think it's more difference between, But what do you love the most here? Like, how the people are like for you?
Wait a minute. What do I love most here, or how do I love the people? Which?
No, the people. Like the behaving of people. How the people are like. Are we good people for you, or we are like not good people for you?
I once asked my therapist, and talked about being a good person, and she said only good people are concerned about being bad. Bad people don't think about it. It doesn't even occur to them. So I've been asked this question so many times, but I've been asked it so recently, frequently, that I just got that connection. So I think of people who are constantly worried about how good they are actually people who are aware of their imperfections and that we can all get better. Whereas people who believe we're the best and no one's better than us really don't have reason to be introspective and considerate. Like
reflection. The kind of reflection.
Exactly. Yeah. Self-awareness. And I think it's that being in the center of Europe. So that there's always a double-edged sword. There's always two sides to the same coin. For every light, there's going to be shadow. Yeah. So the idea that it's centrally located and easy to get to also brings that concern about my place in the world, because I am in the center, and how am I in comparison to other bigger countries and their history. And it's really interesting. I've done corporate training for cross-cultural communication. I'm actually doing a university course on Czech culture and history, providing our Erasmus study abroad students with an understanding of Czech culture and history. And I've actually been asked to speak I'm a faculty member at the University of New York in Prague. I also guest lecture at the New York University in Prague. And I also lecture for the Center for International Educational Exchange. And so there's this ongoing theme of expats coming to the Czech Republic and making sense of it, having an awareness. So, for example, it's contextual. I did not come immediately from the United States.
Yeah.
I came via Korea.
Yeah.
And so that reservedness and that keeping to oneself and that seriousness in public was a part of what I came from. And then I came here. So it doesn't seem so strange to me. And then I understand the historical, cultural significance of why it was necessary. So I'm like, okay, it makes sense. I get it. But if I had just come from a country where you talk to the people, I know exactly. Okay. I didn't want to name names, but you sit on the bus and you have a conversation and you invite them to your place and you have a whole meal with the family and it's just.
Then we are cold.
Exactly. So it's all about a continuum. Yeah. And I have a background in journalism. I love stories, but I actually, one definition that I got about introversion and extroversion is that extroverts get their energy from other people. Introverts get their energy from inside. For me to be able to teach and train and coach and sing, I need to spend a lot of time by myself, alone.
It means that you are introvert?
I get my energy from my ideas and my thoughts and my vision for my life. And then I go out into the world and I contribute.
But very strongly.
Well, apparently so. But
I saw it like in TEDx. You have been like singing the energy was flying everywhere.
Yeah. Well, and this is because I do presentation skills as well. And like I said, I studied theater in university along with journalism was my major. I studied women's studies, theater, and French. And then...
Paris,
Comme tu veux, nous pouvons en français. Nebo můžeme taky v češtině. To vůbec není problém. Kdybyste jako dovolili, abych mluvila se nějaký... Ne. Já vůbec nemusím udělat americký přízvuk. Ale nemusím udělat. Ale samozřejmě to neustále tam bude. Ale
mluvíš krásně.
Děkuji moc. Ale to je tak vtipný, protože já se snažím mluvit jako rozumně a přesně. Ale když... No přesně tak. Ano, přesně tak. Ale já bych chtěla mluvit jako na český rozhlas, když oni mluví tak krásně. Ale já jsem tak nadšená, že začínám. Pokecaj jako v Filadelfii to. Já musím být sama já teda. No přesně tak.
Musíš být sama sebou.
No přesně tak. Nehraju herecké. Já jenom povídám, jak jsem já.
Jo, já to taky nemám. Vždycky říkám, on má akcent, neumí mluvit jako anglicky. Já říkám, já jsem Čech.
No přesně.
Já nebudu tam
Ale ty nejhorší věc je, když lidi se snaží udělat americký přízvuk, je to příšerný, protože to je jenom karikatura.
Karikatura, no.
No, to je karikatura.
Nebo přetvářka.
No, přesně tak. Takže když lidi mi říkají, že umím česky dobře, já jsem vždycky jako úplně překvapený, protože vy jste opravdu to rozuměl? Já jsem jenom se snažila a doufala.
Ale je vtipný, že...
Abrakadabra fungovalo.
Ne, ale vtipný, ale je to neuvěřitelný. It's incredible. Like, if you are speaking in Czech, and if you want to be like calm, like that you are in totally different energy.
I know, right?
Yeah. It's like, it's incredible. Like, I can feel it.
Well, here's that thing. You talk about language, and it's very funny. I speak English, French, Italian, and Czech. And the way I express myself in Italian is different than the way I express it in French versus the way I express in Czech. And you just made me aware of something that I wasn't aware of, that my behavior changes, of course, when I speak Czech as
But
well.
now you
because
showed
the
it
expectation.
incredibly.
I know,
like,
right?
You know,
Exactly.
I could see it totally. Like
Yeah.
you calm yourself. Now the energy didn't fly. So it's not bad. It's like more
But it's
calm.
just different.
Yeah, it's different.
It's not my natural energy.
It's,
But when you say, you know, well, and it's not just you, everybody asks. It's just, it is the one consistent question I get. And it's just fascinating to me that it's something that's consistent, that everybody's like, well, yeah, we're complainers in bed. And it's just, I'm not the one who brings it up. And so you were asking about differences in America. As an American, I wouldn't come up to you like, oh man, yeah, isn't the States the pits? Aren't we the worst?
Really?
No, America, like, we're number one. You know, God bless the USA. It's just
in God we trust, even in US dollars. Like,
you know, it's just culturally so different. And I think it's about the space. You know, think about the largeness of the country. Think about the space we have. We just literally take up space. And there are just certain assertions and assumptions that we have. I mean, literally, manifest destiny. Hop off the boat. Oh, there are other people here. Too bad now. We're going to own the whole entire continent. And just that, you know, and the only people who survived were the people who didn't die on the way. So those people who made it to the West, there has, you know,
like very strong, even aggressive somehow.
Yeah.
To have this like.
Yeah. And don't forget the people who decided that they couldn't live here and survived the hardships of that journey.
Yeah.
And then made it to and across the country. It just creates a certain mentality.
It's true. You see, I didn't. Okay, I know US but I never thought about it in this way, you know, or like.
And I never really thought about it in terms of space. But then, of course, there's Korea, where it's a peninsula. If you want to move to Seoul, you're not going to have more space. So you have to build up. So you've got more people than space permits because you have skyscrapers, and then you just get used to being like this. And it's just different. But of course, Seoul is not the entire country, just like Prague is not the entire country. So there are the differences.
You know, it's like the West and East civilization, it's big differences there because they are like more, even China, they are more used to be like wholeness. Like celek.
Like a whole, a collective.
Collective. And they more like India. They are like
exactly.
more like that. It's more important the whole thing. That, for example, one.
Yeah, exactly.
And
individual.
In the US, it's like individual. You can American dream. You can do everything, and other people. Yeah. And you have to somehow be very strong to go.
Life, liberty,
and
the pursuit of happiness, not the promise of happiness. But the pursuit.
You are looking for it. You are doing everything for it. Yeah.
That's true. The American dream. To make it happen. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
True. It's true.
Yeah. And then whereas in Asia, you know, there's a collective, there's a family, highly influenced by the Confucian hierarchy. Of course, there are new influences, but you're talking about deep roots. I just talked about the deep roots of the United States and how it manifests in our behavior. And of course, those roots are very deep or deeper. But deeper is a baby country. And, you know.
But for me, you know, it's like important to understand the US, you know, because for example, nowadays here in Czech Republic, the people are starting to changing, like with the men are like starting to understand more women, like not women, but the women principle somehow.
Okay, feminine energy.
Feminine and men energy. And how it's, for example, in US, because okay, again, in US, you cannot.
I know, right? Exactly.
Like you go to, New Jersey.
I lived there 27 years.
Like, okay, I believe that in New Jersey there is like fun and the life is like New Orleans, not New Jersey. Sorry, New Orleans. New Orleans, you are like singing, enjoying the life. You are cool. The people behave in open manner. Then you go to another place, but. Here, like we are closer to New Orleans or we are closer to Texas? Because Texas is for me the worst.
I haven't been to Texas. I haven't been to New Orleans
like
either. So you're going to have to tell me all about it.
They are very close-minded.
Okay.
Like,
I just have to say, 99% of the Europeans who go to the States have seen more of the States than I have. Because, you know, growing up in the States, I'm like, I'll get there. I'll go there. Exactly.
Pennsylvania, no?
Yes, exactly. Europeans going to the States is like me going to Asia. I don't know when I'll come back. Let me see everything.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
So,
it's true. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So I can't speak in terms of if you're more like Texas or New Orleans, because I haven't been there. Like I haven't been to Cambodia and Vietnam.
Okay.
So see, I couldn't. I mean, because I do training in cross-cultural communication, I'm starting to think of cross-cultural academic terms in terms of egalitarian versus hierarchical, and then I think of how they're different. But right off the top of the head, I mean, I would equate to Europeans. I couldn't necessarily make a connection between Asia or America.
Okay.
There's not a similarity that just jumps off the top of my head.
I am asking because I'm so like very, very zvědavá. Like,
curious.
Curious, like, you know, all the time, sometimes asking the question.
Yeah. You know how you know how they say Prague is the Paris of the East? I can't say that Czechs are the of the, I can't do that. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to let you down there. I'm going to admit that's not my area of expertise. Can't do that one.
Okay. Oh. No, I wanted to speak about blues.
Ooh, let's go there.
Because
very serious. You're like, yeah.
I love it. You know, it's like you see, you hear, you feel, like all this. I kind of, it's just jazz, but even a little bit jazz there, no? Because for me, blues, jazz, it's very similar.
I'm so glad you asked, because there's a distinct. No, I'm really glad you asked.
It's
because
like country and blues. It's very similar.
Here, let me get this straight. What happens is the blues comes from field music, and it comes from spirituals. And from the blues came jazz.
And spirituals, it means like...
Spirituals are old gospel songs, old gospel songs. So things like Wade in the Water or Ezekiel Saw the Wheel, those type of old Christian songs. So it comes from that. It was a time where the same people who were in the club playing music in the field were the next day playing the music in the church. So there's that much of a crossover. So you have, and it started down south. It started, let's say, in the Mississippi Delta. So
like
there was
New Orleans.
Exactly. So what you have is that there was a time when, just like everything, it was all one. And there were no distinctions and there were no barriers. And so what you had is just music. And the music that was popular at the time, they called it blues because they had to market it, they had to sell it. And it was all blues. And then when they got tired of blues or somebody made a little improvisation or innovation, then it was on to jazz. But then blues was continuing while jazz went off in a different direction. And then as it gave birth to jazz, it also gave birth to rock and roll. So a lot of rock and roll musicians, when they go back to the people that inspired them, they look at who inspired them and they find their way back to the blues.
It's the beginning.
Exactly. And so what's really great is, number one, it was down in the Mississippi Delta and other places, and that's when it was all country. So country music also was an offshoot of the blues, just like jazz, just like rock and roll, but country music has its roots in European music. And so those things that you know from European music had a greater influence in country music. And I would say that's where we start to see a racial divide. There was always a racial divide in that time in the United States. And they were literally called race records.
Really?
So, oh yeah, absolutely. So the
like
records,
it was like the
so
like
the music
black
for,
and white or something like this.
Yeah. So you didn't say black, you said race records.
Yes. Oh, okay, because it's like hypocrites.
Oh well, not then. It was, they weren't worried about that back then. It was just for marketing terms. Yeah, exactly. And
but okay, blues is becoming from the black music, like the black countryside and
exactly that Black experience, let's say the early 20s into the 30s and the 40s, and then it was electrified when it was electrified, but then people moved out of the Mississippi Delta looking for new opportunities. So they went to places like Kansas, and then once again so it went
Like,
jazz and country and rock and roll, and then blues went, okay, then there's Kansas, and then there's West Coast, and then there's up to Chicago, and then there's down to
Michael Jordan, to 96.
And so you have different types of blues. So first of all, people...
But Armstrong is blues.
Well,
jazz.
that's the thing. He's both, because blues inspired jazz, and there are some jazz tunes which are based on the melodic form, harmonic form of blues.
But you told me that blues became like from suffering, I understand now, from fields, because it was a lot of poverty. No? It was,
well, this is really
and it was like
time,
uniting the people, the pain on people, maybe like in the same time, no?
Well, the thing about it is that just because you're made free doesn't mean you have the tools to be free.
Yeah.
Freedom is not free. So just because you're let go and you're no longer a slave, what skills, what training, what ability do you have to make it on your own? So when someone says, hey, you know what, I know you can't take care of yourself. Here, why don't you work my land? And you pay me to work my land. So now it's a very similar situation. One is not a slave, but one is a sharecropper, and maybe not under the most advantageous conditions. So once again, that life of limited means, and you might be again picking cotton, not as a slave, but as a sharecropper, trying to feed your family, and it being a very hard, brutal life. And singing about that and expressing those emotions and those experiences. And also, remember we said country music came from the influences of Europe. And then there are the influences of the African slaves who came not straight from Africa, but stopped via Spain and brought the influences of that culture into the music. So there's a direct lineage, there's a direct heritage of the griots in Africa and their expression of stories and how they interacted with their audiences, and how the African American preacher interacts with his audiences, and then how the blues singer on the stage interacts with her audiences. It's all a lineage passed down because we have to learn it from somewhere, and we're just repeating and improvising and making our own what we've heard in the background for our lives. So I believe it was Ray Charles who said
Ray Charles. It was the Ray.
Yes, exactly.
He was blind, no?
Yes, exactly. A fabulous musician.
Yeah, and even the actor was incredible, no?
Yes,
Fox,
indeed.
No?
Yeah, Jamie Foxx did an amazing
it was like
job.
When he got the Oscar, no?
Yes,
something.
exactly. Yeah, there's a great story how Ray played. They had pianos opposite, and Ray's just like, and to which Jamie went, and he went, okay, you can play me. Because he understood his phrasing and his idea. And Ray Charles said, when it comes to music, on Saturday night, they're saying, oh, baby. And on Sunday morning, they're saying, oh, Lord. That's how close the music is. And I actually got into singing the blues because I was asked to sing the blues. And when I heard the music they wanted me to play, I just thought, this sounds like the music I heard growing up in church. This sounds what people call the blues. I didn't know the blues before I came to the Czech Republic. It was just music to me.
No other music. It was
just
one
music.
music.
There was just music all around. And sometimes the music was soul. Sometimes the music was gospel. Sometimes the music on Sunday morning.
Oh, it's crazy in this like churches, churches. It's like that. The all black people, they are like singing. It's so strong.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
how I grew up.
It's like
that's my heritage.
I saw it in movies, but I thought, okay, it's
No,
better
that's my
than if you are
life.
like
Exactly.
I am not like with this. Like, it's funny, no movement, no anything, just to be like this, like in school.
Yeah, exactly.
And you are like singing, and like with the flow.
Yeah. And there's so much of my music that comes from my experience growing up in church. And just going back to church, I came from a religious family. My father said, if you're too sick to go to church on Sunday, you're too sick to go anyplace else for the rest of the week. And I went to a Christian school. I went to a Christian school Monday through Friday for 1st to 8th grade. And then I went to church on Saturday. So I grew up singing Christian hymns, gospel songs. It was just a normal part of my life. And then because it was normal, when I was in high school, I started singing gospel choir. And when I was going to a public school, singing gospel songs in a public school. And then when I went to university, I was on the gospel choir because it was a part of my life. And then I started doing musical theater. And so when I came here and I was asked to sing blues, I just went, oh, this sounds like what they were playing in church on a Sunday morning. And of course, because of the connection between gospel and blues, of course it did. Yeah. So that was my path to the blues. And my blues comes from my gospel roots. But also, I grew up in Philadelphia where it was Philadelphia soul, sweet Philadelphia soul music. So that influences me. The gospel, my mom was listening to country music while she was cooking breakfast on Sunday, while my father was in the bathroom listening to gospel music on the radio. Oh. And my sisters were listening to rap in the room next door, and I had Motown music playing in my room. And my house was filled with music.
Touchy.
Yeah, and the thing is, I just take it for granted. But now when I say it to other people, I really realize how that's shaped and influenced me and where I draw from my roots. Those are literally my roots, where I gather strength from.
Okay, maybe then I understand that we are maybe a little bit cold because we have this crazy music, we cannot even... on TEDx.
Yeah?
Where these people from Moravia... Yeah. It's like, no.
No, you need to be proud of your traditions. You need to embrace your heritage. Be proud of your culture. I have to tell you that.
If you go to Latin America or to Brazil, or you see the people, how they behave, and lambada or salsa, samba, and then you see this. No, it's not me.
It's funny, yeah, because
it's not that but
it's funny because it doesn't reflect your temperament. Your temperament is just like South America, hey baby, come on. But it's really funny because the more I think about it and I talk about cross-cultural differences, I said I'm introverted. So if I'm on a public bus and I'm just happy sitting, not talking to anybody. So I really understand how the Czech Republic actually really suits me. Just smile, keep it moving. I don't really do small talk. So
shut up and go.
I just dobrý den and we're good. So I either do deep, meaningful, spiritual connection or hello, nice to meet you. Bye-bye. Like anything in between.
You are saving your time, your energy. It's true.
I am aware of my energy, though. I really am.
Yeah. It's because it's better to connect, strongly,
because that gives me
than to do. It's true.
The strong connection fills me with energy. When we leave together, I will be this high. One-on-one is bliss for me, but many superficially, it requires me to develop a skill set that I have not really developed. And that's the reason why I'm exhausted, because it's not my nature to do that. I'm really firing with all of my ability to do something that is not natural for me.
Yeah, then you are tired, definitely. Yeah, I understand.
Totally.
I see. But you found out this by that you are more in your body, because if you are singing, you have to be really like if you play guitar or something, it has to be like balanced, vyladěný. I don't know how to tell it. It has to make the voice right. And the same, you should make it with your body.
Oh, absolutely. It's really, I mean, if I'm going to talk about body, then of course, honors to my voice teacher, Hanna Petskova, who has, just made me a better person, not just a better singer.
Yeah, it's not about just singing. It's about spirituality.
For me, singing is a meditation. I must be here, now, and present, and fully connected, or it comes out in my voice.
Yeah.
I have to be, for me, singing is love. I love it so much that I'm willing to become a better person to do it. I have to sleep well. I have to eat well. I have to be aware of my body. I can't tell you how many times I've broken down in tears at my voice lesson because I was in my head, disconnected from my body, and she's trying to get me to be in my body and to feel. And then, she has one hair left on her head after pulling them all out. And then I'm just like, I feel. And she's like, Madonna mia. She's like, finally. But, the teacher, the trainer, in her head, very happy in her own little space. Singing gets me to be present, where I get to connect the
Fully
mental,
connected.
the emotional, the physical, so that I can be an instrument.
Yeah.
So I can be an instrument. Another teacher I had completely challenged my life view. She said, Joanna, you don't sing the song. The song sings you.
Wow. It's... yeah.
Yeah. So it's a meditation, it's a philosophy, it's a way of life. And I swear I would spend hours. And then for one reason or another, I had to take a break from lessons and I just had to live. Just like that movie Whiplash. There were things I had to go through. There were things I had to release and there were things I had to let go. And when I was a different Joanna, I could be a different instrument. And there was nothing she could do to help me. I had to grow into it. So for me, that's love. It shapes me. It molds me. I am transformed by my relationship with music and singing. And another thing, music is like math. It's right. If I'm out of tune, it's not the song. It's me. I have to get into tune. The song isn't going to change. That means I have to work on me. I have to be a better me to sing a better song. It's not the song's fault. And if I have the right mentality, then I can take that in my hands and be excited by it. But there was a long time when I just beat myself up. I'm not good enough. But that's what...
Opus Dei, like the Christian.
I know, exactly. But that's one of the joys of being a teacher. Because I would teach my students and I would encourage them and motivate them and inspire them and say, you can do it. That's okay. You can learn from today's mistakes. And then I had to remember that for myself when I was in my lessons.
And you have to repeat and repeat even for yourself. Yeah.
And then by being a better student of music made me a better teacher. And being a better teacher made me a better student.
But you are, it's like you are totally different with your approach, because usually it's not 100%. They are telling who doesn't know how to do it, he's teaching. But you have totally different philosophy. You are like putting it together again.
Absolutely. Yeah,
because in the end, everything we have to put together then doesn't work.
Exactly.
If you do something differently and then you are in another extreme, it's very strong. It's like if you are speaking about this love, in songs and music, it's like I feel totally flow, and you are already instrument.
And that's one of my aspirations. One of my very, very, very good friends, one of my closest friends in the Czech Republic, she says every day she wakes up and she says, how do you, what does she say? She says something to the degree of, how can you use me today? In her prayer to God, what do you want me? What do you want me to do today? What do you want to? And that's really it. To be so secure in oneself, in one's being, that you can be flexible. Only the strongest are able to be flexible. Otherwise, it breaks. So to be so anti-fragile, that you can move with anything. To be so secure.
Yeah.
That I can think
Or
about
like
other
the water,
people. Yeah. Yes.
just to flow.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it's nice.
Yeah.
I even do not need to speak. It's like we can just do.
We just
calm.
vibe. That's
We
it.
can just calm.
Yeah.
No, it's true. Because
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
we are looking for some answers and some spiritual treatments. And okay, I am like questioning a lot, because the quality of questions like bringing you better life. Because if you put more quality questions, is better. But sometimes it's not necessary to ask too much, just to be and listen. And you feel the inner voice? I mean, when you are singing, definitely.
Well, that's actually really important. Hannah has actually, how would I say, měla jsem výčitky od Hany, protože she's just like, I don't hear that you have a firm understanding in your mind of what you want to sing. You have to have clearly, yes. If you're painting, you have to have a clear picture before you draw it. If you don't see it, how can other people see it? If I don't hear the note in my head that I want to sing, it's just like a bullseye. If I don't have a clear concept of that note and that target and how to hit it, I'm going to be off. So it'll be somewhere in the middle. But if I listen to the music and I hear my relationship to the music, and I go, the music is here, and based on that note, this is where I want to be, or this is where I want to be, then I am in tune. And we know that music is math, and math is the logic of the universe. So if I look at you and I have an understanding of who you are, and I think about who I want to be in relationship to you, we can be in tune.
Yeah.
But when I get so closed in my head and I'm completely lacking regard for those around me or the things around me, I bump into things, I'm clumsy, I am rude when I don't mean to be, because I am out of tune with my surroundings, with myself, no awareness of where I am, and no awareness of other people.
That's fun.
And then, of course, and this is one of the things that I loved about the UNIP TEDx, that was really the first time where I got to bring my full self to the stage. I wasn't just the singer. I wasn't just the songwriter. I was also the teacher. I was explaining my process of how I listen to that still small voice and hear, what do I want to give people? By the end of this song, what do I want people to have ringing in their heads, repeating, that can sustain them and give them life, like the gospel songs bring me life, halfway around the world, continents away. These songs, these simple songs like This Little Light of Mine, still ring in my ear and urge me to shine brighter than I've ever been before. How can I give that to someone who will never go to a church, will never want to go to a church,
And the background is totally different,
but needs to connect with their inner light and know that the world needs their brightness? How can I write something that's simply beautiful? Well, I don't know, but I do know how to teach people. I've been teaching for 27 years. I understand how people connect what they already know with what they don't know. And through their life experience, they can make the connection of, oh, it's like that. So I taught my songwriting process using what I know from teaching to talk about how I make a song so that other people can learn how to be in tune with themselves, so they can be tuned with other people, and that they could potentially write a song in terms of their lives. Like the way you make chocolate. I mean, come on, seriously now. We got vegan chocolate with rice. And the rice tastes caramelized. This is a composition. Just like anything by a writer, anything by a musician. You write on the canvas that is your preferred medium. And thank God it's chocolate. This is your concert to us.
It's true that everybody has different kind how to show what he is best in doing.
And Jaki se Česko, that people would be given the opportunity and the education and the training and the encouragement to find the canvas on which they can create. That becomes a part of the national culture. That whatever...
Because it's starting to be.
I know, right?
No,
with the education.
Like
you read about that new education reform.
No.
What? You don't know about that? No, the Ministry of Education, they're talking about bringing changes that would provide students. Exactly.
Okay. Oh,
I
didn't read that.
Fewer, no word.
Make connections.
Yeah, exactly. Fewer tests, more checking that they actually understand, moving away from rote memorization to talking about, do you understand? And I also teach Introduction to University Studies at the University of New York in Prague. I teach a lot of things when I'm not doing corporate training or corporate coaching or, doing a tour around Europe.
Are funny when you are putting this, the voice.
I do. It's sottovoce. It's like by the side, it's on the other side. But the thing about it is,
it's another side.
There are many sides. I'm
the shadow side.
I'm multifaceted. Oh no, you haven't met my shadow yet.
No, I love this this voice,
When my shadow comes out, I was like, oh, sorry. Down, girl. Exactly. Like, but
okay.
Just a little side note. I was listening to somebody who's a yogi, and she was saying, we all know namaste. The light in me sees the light in you. But there's also saying the shadow in me sees the shadow in you. Yeah. So that there's a completeness in the fullness.
And then it's
exactly. There you go. Exactly. That there is a balance. So going back to Introduction to University Studies, like I said, I love being in my head. My playground are concepts, thoughts, and ideas. And for me as an entrepreneur, my catchphrase is connecting people, ideas, and results. That's the reason why I love corporate training, because you have people who are in the heart of having challenges today. I can give them concepts and ideas and tools, and they can put them to work tomorrow to get results. University students, they still got a number of years. They don't have the life experience. No, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what, that's why, So the thing about it is, but a professional, they understand, that
because they want to.
Exactly. When I say something to you, you're like, I have enough life experience to know that makes sense. But if you haven't had enough life experience, then you're like, oh, okay, that sounds nice. But so the thing about it is one of the concepts I really, really love is Bloom's revised taxonomy. So we talk about knowing something in terms of, okay, 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. This rote memorization. And going back to educational reform, they want to move away from rote memorization, and they want to get them to the next level, which is understanding. My joy in my classroom is I give my students a concept, and then I ask them, I want you to explain that concept in your own words, and I want an example from your life, the life of your friends, the life of your family, or the life of the world. And when my students can explain it to me using their words and their lives, I'm just like, that's it. That's what I need. For me, that's the minimum. Next level is actually being able to apply it. So I can explain it, but can you do it? And then above that, there's also analyzing. Okay, you did it, but how did you do it?
How did it
exactly
influence or something?
And then there's evaluating. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well did you do it? And then at the top, the end all to be all is creating.
And then you are like this.
That's you. You do it. You're like, this is good. Vegan is good. Almonds are good. But rice Ooh, that's, in a nutshell. But there's Bloom's revised taxonomy. And after teaching this so many times again and again and applying it to my life, literally applying it to my life, and that's where you pick up on it. I would feel like a hypocrite to say this to my students and not practice it in my life. Mm-hmm. So I'm constantly creating because I'm trying to be at the top of the pyramid. And I don't consider myself knowing something.
Cleopatra.
Really? Why do you say that? How does that work?
On the top.
Okay, thank you. I don't consider myself to know something until I'm able to create with it and make it mine. And that's my idea of mastery. And they say that a master is someone who's failed more times than the amateur has even tried.
Yeah.
And so I know this is not your first batch of chocolate.
Yeah.
In how it came out.
It's like 5 years or some maybe more.
Exactly.
Of developing.
Exactly. And so after teaching this for so many times, I say, if you just do rote memorization, you know about something. Mm-hmm. But when you create and you make it your own, that's when you know. Yeah. But here's because we stand on the shoulders of giants. You read and then you're supposed to add something to it. I tell my students, I remember I got a B+ in my freshman composition class, and the criticism I got from my teacher was, you just repeated from the book. I wanted you to add something of your own. That was the first time I was told that it wasn't good enough to just repeat what other people did. I had to give something of myself. I had to add value. I couldn't just sit and listen and monitor and put other people's ideas together. So in the spirit of that, there's Bloom's revised taxonomy. I think above creating is play. You have mastered the creation process so much, you're just having fun. That's what I think is above creating. Because I've created and my shadow has come out. I've been stressed, nervous, upset. I have not been the woman that I wanted to be. But when I feel calm and secure and, it's okay, it'll fail, it won't fail, it's the process. That for me is flow. It's like meditating. I meditate 10 minutes a day. The meditation, I know I'm going to fall out of it, but I just did it because I know it's good for me. So if I can meditate, then I can exercise. Some days I'll be able to do the push-ups. Some days I won't. But it's the fact I showed up and I did it. So let me just have fun because some days it's going to be bad. Some days it's going to be good. But I did it. I showed up for myself. And if I can learn to show up for myself, then I can learn to show up for other people in the world.
I think that we are experiencing the meditation right now.
Yes, very much so.
It's like about the meditation.
Yeah, just taking in the energy. Absolutely.
Because I was very tired and by you, like by us, I'm flourishing.
Yes, exactly.
And we do not need to sing because I'm not good singer, I'm not good dancer.
I'll just sit here and eat your chocolate. That's how I will flourish. You know why I have so much energy? Because I was eating all this chocolate before we started. Because I practice, I'm not sure if you know, I practice intermittent fasting. I am a big advocate of intermittent fasting. I will get on a soapbox. I will tell everybody.
How many days you can do?
Well, see, I have, my longest is 96 hours.
96 hours.
It's 4 days.
4 days, okay.
3 days is comfortable, but I realize I don't have to do it that long because I start to lose muscle mass, and that's not my point. I just want to burn fat. So listen to this. Because I have become fat adapted, I will go and I have black coffee for breakfast. I have green tea for lunch, and then I have dinner at 6. So it's gorgeous because I had poor eating habits and I was starting to feel pre-diabetic, meaning having a meal and then just being like this afterwards.
Yeah, it's like
I couldn't eat lunch because it would weigh me down and I would just be tired. So by having the green tea at lunch, I'm working 9 to 6 with ketones flowing. The mental clarity is off the hook. And I've got that drive of somebody who's hungry. I'm just like, I'm just really into it. And there's my to-do list, there's Trello, and I'm just knocking it. And I'm living.
I see you.
I
It's
know,
like-
really, exactly. So when I came here, it was time for me to break my fast. And you were just like, Joanna, you want chocolate? And I'm like, And so can you imagine? I've been fasting all day and now I'm having chocolate. Of course I have energy. How could you
Of
not
course,
have
I'm in. Like, of course.
So how can people, I mean, your spirit plus the chocolate, how can people not have positive energy around you? I'm trying to fathom it. I don't know why that would happen.
Yeah, sometimes it's true because the cocoa,
Yeah.
it's becoming, of course, from originally from Indian in Latin America.
Yes.
And they did a lot of cocoa ceremonies.
Yes, and it's also got theobromine as well.
Yeah.
But of course, and that's from the gods. So
And this Montezuma, he was drinking a lot.
yes,
And it was nice because it was like kind of rituals that they gave the gratitude to their fathers and etc. And to be grateful that they are small
yes,
and that the parents and grandparents are bigger.
yes,
And it came us to be more like balanced
yes,
in
yes.
our lives.
Absolutely.
And of course, I do not understand how some people who eat our chocolate every day
Mm-hmm.
are not positive as well. It's like, for me, it's like, okay, we are sending here to politics now, joking. Like, even if we send, like, every
Yeah.
day you eat one of this bar, it will not change. No, I don't understand. Sometimes you can be not addictive to drugs. Like this.
It's everything in moderation. I'm really learning that because too much of a good thing ruins that good thing. And if I had chocolate every day, which
That's
I don't, I might start to take it for granted. I might not appreciate it. So it's not for me a little amount. I'm not that type of person. That's the reason why intermittent fasting really works for me.
Yeah.
There are a certain number of calories per day I should have, and I just have it at one meal, and I'm done, and I can keep on moving.
Yeah, it's
So
alright.
literally I focus 9 to 6, then I have my meal from 6 to 8, and then after 8 is me time. It's my private time if I properly manage my schedule. But for me, one of my personal strengths is gratitude. And if I forget that it's a strength, I start comparing. I start looking at other things.
Competing.
Exactly,
some things,
exactly.
yeah.
So if
You
you
go
say,
to be like more oběť,
yeah, victim.
a victim.
Exactly. So you say, how can people eat chocolate every day and not be positive? You have to appreciate the chocolate. And we all have chocolate in our lives. But if we focus on what we don't have, we will never appreciate the chocolate. It is a choice. And it's not a privilege, it's not an honor, it is a duty to appreciate what we have. Because if we lose it, then we would be complaining. So we have to appreciate what we have because we don't know for how long we'll have it. Things can always be worse, but we don't even understand how or to what degree. So to really savor the chocolate that life has given us this moment. And to take the bitter with the sweet. The story of chocolate. Take the bitter with the bitter makes the sweet sweeter. And the sweet makes the bitter palatable and manageable.
I will speak about this in TEDx, definitely. Because,
What are you doing your TEDx?
I will be speaker. Like
This September,
year,
right?
yeah,
Or whenever they do it.
September
I will be
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I'll be the one.
I see Joanna there.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. No,
I'll be the loud one.
Matthias is my
Coach?
coach, the
That's
French guy.
awesome. He's a
Yeah,
great
like-
guy.
yeah, he's a great guy.
Amazing
Yeah,
speech.
yeah.
Great spirit. Oh, I could really see how you two would do great things together. Great choice.
Yeah. Mark
Awesome.
arranged it. Yeah.
That's great. Oh, he really combined like-minded spirits. That's wonderful. Congratulations, both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I say Matthias's speech is the one where if I were on YouTube and I was looking for a topic, his would be the speech where I would take screenshots because I was touched and moved and wanted to remember what he shared.
But he's funny. He's Chile guy. He's from Chile.
No, really?
Both parents are from Chile. He doesn't speak Spanish and he is French.
There you go.
And he's tall, 190,
I know,
and he
exactly.
plays basketball like me. Yeah. It's funny, like all these things which are putting together. Okay, my dear. I think that we could speak more. We will make the volume 2.
Okay, absolutely.
Because now we started.
Yeah, we just opened it up.
And we will make after your concerts and everything.
Yes.
But I really appreciate your way of living and this spiritual abundance or something. I don't know, and what is coming from you, like this energy. And definitely we are inviting to your Instagram, no? You have JUWANA Jenkins, no?
Yeah, exactly.
With all your songs, and even on YouTube, no?
I have YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and my website. But the best way to get in touch with me is live and in person, so we can connect there. That's my happiest way to connect with people, just like this.
Brings the dogs to Jess dog. And you can make a lot of noise there.
Yeah, bring the noise.
Okay, my dear. You are great.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That goes out to you.
Děkujeme.
Děkujeme.